Most people walk through life believing that reality is something external, fixed, and absolute. It seems obvious. You touch the table, it feels solid. You look up at the sky, it appears blue. You feel the weight of circumstances pressing down on you, bills to pay, people to meet, challenges to overcome, and it feels like life is something happening to you outside of your control. But what if this isn't the truth? What if the world you experience is not an objective, independent entity, but a mirror reflecting your inner state? What if, right now, without changing anything on the outside, you could shift your inner world and, by doing so, watch your external world rearrange itself around you? Modern physics suggests that reality isn't as solid as it appears. At the quantum level, matter behaves in strange and unpredictable ways. Particles exist in multiple places at once. Observers can influence outcomes simply by the act of observing. Reality, it seems, is not a rigid, mechanical thing. It's fluid, responsive, and deeply interconnected with consciousness. Ancient mystics said it long before science caught up. In the Hermetic text from ancient Egypt, it was written, "The all is mind, the universe is mental." Reality is consciousness projected outward. What you believe, what you expect, what you feel, these are not insignificant. They are the blueprints for the world you live in. And here's the most staggering truth. If your consciousness is creating your reality, then changing your reality does not begin by manipulating the external world. It begins by mastering your inner world, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs. This is the foundation upon which the three words we are about to uncover rest. Without understanding this truth, the words are just sounds. With understanding, they become the keys to a kingdom. You have been living under a spell, the spell of limitation, the spell of "this is just how things are." But the moment you awaken to the truth that reality is fluid and malleable, the moment you understand that you are the artist painting your world with your thoughts and feelings, you begin to reclaim your power. You are not here to suffer through circumstances. You are here to create, to shape, to mold your experience like a potter shapes clay. And it all starts from within. Before we dive into the three words that can change your life, you must first be willing to accept this one radical idea. The world you see is not fixed. It is changeable. It is plastic. It is waiting for your command. Reality is not something you react to. It is something you create. Every thought, every emotion, every mental image you consistently entertain is a seed planted into the fertile soil of the subconscious mind. And given enough nourishment, focus, feeling, belief, those seeds grow into the circumstances, events, and experiences that make up your life. The question is not whether you are creating your reality. You are doing it all the time. The only question is, are you creating consciously or unconsciously? Once you step into conscious creation, once you decide to be deliberate with your inner world, life begins to unfold in ways that seem magical. Doors open where none existed. Opportunities arise out of nowhere. People appear to assist you at just the right moment. But this is not magic in the sense of fairy tales. It is magic in the truest sense, the mastery of the mind over matter, the alignment of the inner and outer worlds. And it begins with a simple shift in understanding. You are the cause, not the effect. You are the creator, not the victim. This understanding changes everything. For centuries, science and spirituality seemed to occupy two separate worlds. Spirituality spoke of unseen forces, of mind over matter, of the power of belief. Science focused on the observable, the measurable, the physical. And for a long time, these two perspectives seemed irreconcilable. But in the last century, something remarkable happened. Science began to discover what mystics had been saying all along. Reality is not purely physical. Consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping the world we experience. The most famous scientific discovery that hints at this truth is the double-slit experiment. In this experiment, particles of light, photons, were fired at a barrier with 2 slits. When no one observed the experiment, the particles behaved like waves, creating an interference pattern that suggested they passed through both slits simultaneously. But when the experiment was observed, the particles behaved like discrete objects, passing through one slit or the other. In other words, the act of observation changed the outcome. The consciousness of the observer influenced the behavior of matter. This discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. It suggested that consciousness is not just a passive observer of reality, but an active participant in creating it. The implications are staggering. If particles, the building blocks of everything in the physical universe, behave differently depending on whether they are observed, then consciousness must be woven into the very fabric of reality itself. In recent years, other experiments have reinforced this idea. Studies in quantum entanglement show that 2 particles, once linked, can instantly affect each other, no matter how far apart they are, even across galaxies. This spooky action at a distance, as Einstein called it, suggests that reality is interconnected in ways that defy our traditional understanding of space and time. Meanwhile, research into the placebo effect, where patients experience real healing effects from fake treatments simply because they believe they are receiving real medicine, demonstrates the incredible power of belief over the physical body. The mind doesn't just influence the body, it can change it, heal it, transform it. In the field of neuroplasticity, scientists have discovered that the brain is not a fixed, static organ. It can be rewired by thoughts, experiences, and beliefs. The structure of your brain changes depending on where you place your focus and attention. Meditation practitioners have been found to physically alter their brain structures through consistent inner work. Thoughts are not ephemeral, meaningless flashes. They are real forces that shape the very machinery of perception and behavior. In the realm of psychology, the concept of self-fulfilling prophecy is well documented. When you expect something to happen, you subconsciously act in ways that bring about that outcome. In other words, belief creates behavior. Behavior creates experience. Experience reinforces belief. It's a feedback loop, one that either traps you in cycles of limitation or liberates you into new possibilities. When you combine all of this scientific evidence, a profound picture emerges. Reality is not separate from you. Your mind, your focus, your attention, your beliefs, they are not irrelevant whispers. They are active agents in the formation of your world. And if this is true, then learning how to direct your mind becomes the most important skill you could ever master. Before you can command reality, you must first command yourself. And that's where the power of words, the right words, comes into play. Certain words, when infused with belief, emotion, and clear intention, act as powerful instructions to the subconscious mind. They are not just sounds. They are spells. You are, whether you realize it or not, constantly casting spells with your words, thoughts, and feelings. The only question is, are you casting spells that align with the life you want or the life you fear? Understanding this, you can see why the 3 words we are about to explore are so powerful. They are a key to aligning your consciousness with the reality you desire. They are simple. They are profound. And when used correctly, they can alter the very fabric of your existence. But before we reveal them, let's explore the ancient wisdom that predicted all of this long before modern science caught up. Long before quantum physics, neuroscience, or psychology even existed, ancient mystics across the world had already discovered the principles that govern reality. They spoke in metaphors, symbols, and parables, but their core message was clear and universal. Reality is shaped from within. The outer world is a reflection of the inner world. You are not a passive observer of life. You are its creator. In ancient Egypt, the Hermetic teachings taught that all is mind. The Emerald Tablet, a foundational mystical text, stated, "As above, so below, as within, so without." This wasn't merely poetic language. It was a precise description of how reality operates. Your inner consciousness mirrors itself outwardly into the fabric of your life experience. The sages of India spoke of Maya, the great illusion, the idea that the material world is not ultimate reality, but a projection of consciousness. The yogic traditions taught that by mastering the mind through meditation, mantra, and intention, one could pierce the veil of illusion and experience true reality. Buddhism taught the power of right thought and right intention, understanding that the quality of your mind determines the quality of your life. The Buddha himself said, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What you think, you become." Mystical Christianity spoke in similar terms. Jesus said, "It is done unto you as you believe." He didn't say according to luck or according to circumstances. He said according to your belief. Throughout the ages, mystical traditions have consistently pointed to the same truth. Belief is the root. Reality is the fruit. This knowledge was preserved in secret schools and mystery traditions because it was understood to be potent, a force that could liberate or destroy, depending on the wisdom of the wielder. When we look at modern teachers like Neville Goddard, we see a direct continuation of this ancient wisdom. Neville taught that imagining creates reality. He said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and you will see your world rearrange itself to match your inner assumption." It was not about hard work, struggle, or trying to make things happen. It was about being the version of yourself who already has what you desire internally and trusting that the outer world would catch up. Mystics knew that words are not empty vessels. They are carriers of vibration, emotion, and creative power. A word spoken with belief is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the universe. A word spoken with doubt is like scattering seeds on barren ground. This is why sacred words, chants, and affirmations have been used for thousands of years across cultures, not as mindless repetition, but as deliberate acts of creation. The 3 words we are about to reveal are more than just a phrase. They are a mystical formula. They encapsulate the timeless principle that imagination, belief, and feeling are the creators of reality. And when you understand how to use these words, with the right energy, the right emotional charge, and the right understanding, you activate the same creative force that the ancient mystics, sages, and spiritual masters harnessed. You become a conscious participant in the divine act of creation. You move from being a pawn of circumstance to a master of destiny. But to do this, you must do more than simply repeat the words mechanically. You must embody them. You must feel them as real. You must allow their vibration to sink deep into your subconscious, where the real work of creation happens. The mystics knew that words are doors, and now you are about to walk through one of the greatest doors of all. Prepare yourself, because once you know, you cannot unknow. Once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you activate this power within you, your life can never be the same. After everything you've read so far, you are ready. Ready to receive the 3 words that have the potential to reshape your entire reality if you truly understand and apply them. These words are simple, deceptively simple. You might even be tempted to dismiss them at first glance. But do not let their simplicity fool you. These 3 words encapsulate the entire process of manifestation, the science of consciousness, and the wisdom of the mystics into a single powerful formula. The words are, "It is done." 3 words, infinite power. Let's unpack what they really mean and why they work. When you say, "It is done," you are doing something that 99% of people fail to do when they set intentions or visualize their desires. You are closing the loop. You are sealing the reality in your consciousness. You are removing all doubt, all uncertainty, all hesitation. You are declaring, with the authority of your divine nature, this desire is not something that might happen in the future. It is something that is already accomplished now in the invisible realm of cause. By saying it is done, you step out of the energy of wanting, needing, hoping, and wishing, all of which imply lack and absence, and into the energy of fulfillment, certainty, and presence. In the realm of the subconscious mind, there is no past or future. There is only now. Everything you impress upon the subconscious must be framed as existing already in the present. When you speak the words, "It is done," with feeling and conviction, you send a clear, powerful command to the subconscious mind. Create the outer reality that matches this inner knowing. You move from trying to make it happen to allowing it to unfold naturally. You move from struggle to ease. You move from hoping to expecting. This shift in inner state is not trivial. It is everything. The energy of "it is done" collapses the wave of infinite possibilities into the particle of your chosen reality. It brings the formless into form. It magnetizes circumstances, people, and events to align with your inner vision. Think about it. How do you act when you know something is already yours? You relax. You trust. You don't obsess. You don't grasp. You don't doubt. You simply move through life with a quiet, unshakable confidence, knowing that what you have claimed internally must express itself externally. The feeling of "it is done" aligns you with the version of yourself who already possesses what you desire, and when you consistently occupy that version of yourself, reality has no choice but to conform. This is not wishful thinking. This is not blind faith. This is the precise mechanism by which consciousness molds matter. Every master creator throughout history has known this truth, whether consciously or intuitively. Neville Goddard said, "You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." Jesus said, "When you pray, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Modern quantum physicists speak of the collapse of the wave function through observation and expectation. It all points to the same timeless reality. Belief precedes manifestation. Feeling is the bridge between imagination and physical experience. And "it is done" is the shortcut to both. When you embody these three words, you stop waiting for evidence. You stop needing validation. You stop living by appearances. You begin to live by inner truth, knowing that the unseen is more real than the seen. You realize that reality is not happening to you. It is happening through you. You are not a powerless being begging the universe for scraps. You are a creator, a sovereign being, a living spark of the infinite mind. And your word, your conscious decree, is law in your reality. This is why "it is done" is so powerful. It is a statement of finality. It is a decree. It is a closing of the gap between desire and fulfillment. But it must be felt, not just said mechanically. It must carry the vibration of certainty, the energy of inevitability. When you say "it is done," feel it, see it, embody it. Feel the emotional relief, the gratitude, the joy, the peace that you would feel if your desire were already realized, because in the deeper reality, it is. You are not trying to force anything. You are aligning with the reality that already exists in the infinite field of possibilities. And through your focused attention, your unwavering belief, and your felt inner knowing, you draw it forth into your lived experience. "It is done" is not just a phrase. It is a state of being. It is the bridge between your inner world and your outer world. It is the secret language of creation. And now you hold it in your hands. The question is, will you use it? Will you dare to believe so fully, so completely, that reality itself bends to your will? The choice is yours. When you speak or think from the place of "it is done," you step into the realm of finality and certainty, two of the most potent energies in the universe. Finality is the closure of doubt. Certainty is the solid foundation upon which manifestation builds itself. Most people live in a state of indecision, hesitation, and doubt. They want something, but they are unsure whether they can have it. They visualize it, but deep down, they wonder if it's really possible. They affirm it, but simultaneously fear that it won't happen. This split energy, this inner conflict, cancels the creative force. It sends mixed signals to the subconscious mind and to the universal field. It's like trying to drive a car with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. Nothing moves. Frustration builds. And over time, people wrongly conclude that manifestation doesn't work. But it does work. It always works. It simply responds precisely to the dominant energy you hold, and if that energy is split, confused, or fearful, the results you get will mirror that. When you operate from finality and certainty, you eliminate this conflict. You send a single powerful, unwavering signal. This is done. There is no other option. Finality is magnetic. It draws your chosen reality toward you with unstoppable force. Think about the people in history who accomplished seemingly impossible feats. Inventors, explorers, revolutionaries, spiritual masters. They were not operating from timid hope. They were consumed by certainty. When Thomas Edison was asked about the thousands of times he failed to invent the light bulb, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His certainty was so complete that even repeated setbacks could not dissuade him. When you look at great athletes, artists, or entrepreneurs, you see the same pattern, an inner knowing so strong that no external evidence could shake it. Finality creates inevitability. This is why ancient mystics taught that once you pray or affirm something, you must act as if it is already so. You do not repeat the prayer in desperation. You do not check constantly to see if it's working. You move forward with the confidence that what you have asked for is already accomplished in the unseen. You occupy the feeling space of the wish fulfilled. This is where most people stumble. They continue to pray, affirm, or visualize from a place of lack, from the assumption that they don't yet have what they desire. In doing so, they reinforce the very absence they are trying to escape. Finality ends that cycle. When you say it is done, you emotionally cut yourself off from the energy of lack. You refuse to entertain the possibility of failure. You stand firm in the unseen, knowing that what you have claimed will, by the laws of consciousness, crystallize into form. Certainty is not arrogance. It is not wishful thinking. It is alignment with the fundamental truth of how reality operates. When you are certain, you are no longer vibrating at the frequency of "I hope." You are vibrating at the frequency of "I know." Hope is a stepping stone, but knowing is creative fire. Certainty does not require evidence. It produces evidence. When you hold the feeling of certainty long enough, the outer world must conform. It is not optional. It is law. The subconscious mind, the deeper field of reality, responds to emotional conviction, not to empty words. This is why you must not just say, "It is done." You must feel it, live it, breathe it. You must act from it. You must walk, speak, think, and make decisions as if your desire is already fact. When doubts arise, and they will, especially at first, you do not argue with them. You do not fight them. You do not feed them with attention. You simply return again and again to the feeling of "it is done." Like a lighthouse in a storm, you remain anchored in your inner knowing, no matter what outer circumstances suggest. Finality and certainty are magnetic because they align you with the version of reality where your desire is already true. And through the mysterious but infallible workings of consciousness, the bridge of incidents will unfold to carry you to the physical realization of your claim. You may not know how it will happen. You don't need to. The how is not your job. Your job is to maintain the state of certainty. Trust the deeper intelligence of life to orchestrate the necessary events, people, and opportunities. The universe loves a made-up mind. It conspires in favor of the one who refuses to waver. When you choose finality, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself around your decision. This is the silent, invisible, but unstoppable power you wield. And now, you know how to use it. Belief is the hidden fuel that drives every act of creation, yet it remains the most elusive resource for nearly everyone. You may have heard that you must believe, or faith moves mountains. But what does belief really mean, and why do most people find it so difficult to sustain? To answer this, we have to delve into the architecture of the subconscious mind, the silent majority of your mental life, and the layers of conditioning that stand between you and unwavering faith. At birth, your subconscious is like a blank slate, infinitely receptive, infinitely pliable. It records every experience, every word spoken to you, every sensation you encounter, without discrimination. In those early years, your inner world takes shape. If you are touched, held, and praised, you build a core self-image of safety and worth. If you are denied, criticized, or ignored, you weave threads of fear, doubt, and inadequacy into your psyche. By the time most people reach adulthood, their subconscious is saturated with thousands of such impressions, patterns that play out automatically, day after day, shaping moods, habits, and expectations. Because the subconscious operates below conscious awareness, its programs feel involuntary and immutable. You may consciously declare, "I am confident," yet deep in your psyche, there may be a counter-program of, "I'm not good enough," that sabotages every affirmation. This invisible conflict generates what Neville called internal division, a split between your conscious desires and your subconscious beliefs. Until that division is healed, any attempt to manifest consciously will encounter friction. You drive forward with intention while your subconscious applies the brakes of doubt and fear. One reason belief is so fragile is that modern education and culture inadvertently train us to doubt. From childhood, we learn to question, to critique, to analyze. We are taught to value empirical evidence and rational proof. In the realm of science and material success, this mindset serves us well. It fuels innovation, prevents gullibility, and promotes critical thinking. Yet when it comes to matters of consciousness and inner transformation, the same critical faculty becomes a stubborn skeptic, insisting on proof before belief, when in fact, belief must precede proof. Imagine a seed. You plant it in soil, water it, and protect it. You do not dig it up every day to see if it has sprouted. Such interference would kill its fragile root. Instead, you trust in the natural process, continue your care, and wait patiently for the shooting sprout to break the surface. Belief operates in the same way. It is the trust that the seed of intention, once planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious, will germinate and grow, even if you see no sign of life above ground. Yet, most people, when they do inner work, behave exactly like impatient gardeners. They plant the seed with morning affirmations or visualization, then spend the rest of the day measuring progress. Is my phone ringing? Has my bank account grown? Have I heard from that person yet? Every time their senses report no, hope crumbles, doubt intensifies, and the subconscious retreats into its default patterns. The net effect is not progress, but a gradual erosion of belief. Another reason belief falters is emotional inconsistency. Your subconscious responds not to isolated moments of feeling, but to the dominant mood you maintain over time. If you feel hopeful for a few minutes, then worry for hours. The overall vibration remains one of fear. Manifestation requires aligning your moment-to-moment emotional atmosphere with the feeling of the fulfilled desire. That alignment must become habitual, a baseline state of expectancy. Only then can the subconscious mind sustain the presuppositions necessary to reprogram your outer world. Why is sustained alignment so rare? Because everyday life is full of triggers that pull you back into old patterns. A critical comment at work, a bill in the mailbox, a health scare, a news headline. Each can jerk you out of your mental equilibrium and plunge you into fear or frustration. Unless you have built a strong inner routine, daily rituals of affirmation, visualization, gratitude, and self-care, your emotional self becomes like a leaf in the wind, susceptible to every gust of external circumstance. Then there is the trap of wishful thinking. Many people imagine their desires but fail to differentiate between genuine belief and idle daydreaming. Daydreams are often wishful escapes, pleasant but lacking in conviction or emotional intensity. True belief, by contrast, is a visceral, unshakable knowing. It is the quiet assurance that emanates from deep within, independent of outer conditions. In practice, this feels less like an excited yes and more like a calm, centered "I already have it." The energy of excitement can be useful, but it must be grounded in the steady current of certainty. Underlying all these issues is one fundamental misunderstanding. Belief is not a switch you flip on once. It is a muscle you develop. The more you exercise faith, by consciously returning to your indwelling certainty again and again, the stronger it becomes. Just as physical muscles atrophy without regular use, the belief muscle weakens if neglected. Many people give up too soon, thinking that failure to manifest quickly means the process doesn't work. In reality, swift results are possible for some, but more commonly, lasting change emerges through persistent, consistent inner work over weeks, months, or even years. A powerful practice for strengthening belief is the daily habit of mental rehearsal. Top athletes visualize their perfect performance hundreds of times before the event. They feel the muscle movements, the adrenaline surge, the cheering crowd. They don't expect perfection the first time. Even when mistakes happen, they return to rehearsal unaffected by frustration. In the realm of consciousness, you do the same. You mentally rehearse your fulfilled desire, complete with sensory details and emotions, and you treat that rehearsal as your most important appointment of the day. Over time, the subconscious begins to mistake the rehearsal for reality and organizes your life accordingly. Another essential practice is revision, the Neville Goddard technique of mentally rewriting past events. By revising memories, reframing them with more empowering outcomes, you realign your subconscious to support your present belief. Revision is not denial of the past, but reclamation of your creative power. You transform victims of memory into architects of your inner world. This process builds confidence because you see tangible shifts. Situations you once viewed as fixed begin to dissolve, replaced by new, more supportive versions. A third key to sustaining belief is communion with the inner self. Whether through meditation, prayer, journaling, or simple quiet reflection, you learn to hear the subtle stillness beneath the chatter of the mind. In that silent space, your true identity, unconditioned by fear or societal expectations, speaks in a gentle but unwavering voice. This voice is your guide, your source of unassailable faith. By cultivating that inner dialogue daily, you reinforce the direct line of communication between your conscious aspirations and your deeper knowing. At the same time, you must watch for belief assassins, habits, people, or information sources that erode your faith. These might include negative news consumption, cynical acquaintances, or self-sabotaging thoughts triggered by past traumas. Identifying and minimizing these assassins is as important as nourishing your belief with positive influences. Uplifting literature, supportive mentors, like-minded communities, and inspiring stories of others who have succeeded through similar methods. Finally, remember that every moment of doubt is an invitation to return home, to shift your focus back to the undisturbed certainty of "it is done." Doubt is simply a signal that you have drifted. It is never a condemnation. When you notice doubt arising, do not berate yourself. Instead, gently redirect to your chosen state. Mentally affirm. Visualize a success memory. Feel the sensation of completion. Each time you do this, even for a few seconds, you strengthen the neural pathways of belief and weaken the old grooves of uncertainty. Belief, then, is not magic. It is a disciplined practice. It emerges from persistent alignment of thought, emotion, and imagination. It is built through daily rituals, mental rehearsal, revision of the past, and communion with your inner self. And as you cultivate it, you transform the subconscious from a storehouse of limiting patterns into a responsive ally, one that works tirelessly behind the scenes to manifest your deepest desires. When you reach the point where doubt no longer deters you, where hope has matured into unshakable knowing, you have mastered the art of belief. From that place, "it is done" ceases to be a phrase and becomes your living reality. Even with the most potent formulas in hand, many sincere practitioners find themselves stalled, discouraged, or even convinced that manifestation is just hype. The culprit is not the method itself, but a series of hidden missteps that undermine intent and neutralize creative power. In this chapter, we'll expose the 7 most pervasive mistakes that block your desires and learn how to dissolve them so that your declarations of "it is done" can finally bear fruit. Many people begin their imaginal work from a place of frustration or urgency. Their inner monologue goes something like, "I can't stand this anymore," or "I need this to change now." Although such motivation can feel intense, it actually energizes resistance. Your subconscious mind hears, "I'm trapped," rather than "I'm open." When you approach your practice with clenched mental fists, you tighten the channels through which desire must flow. In contrast, starting from receptivity, soft curiosity, genuine wonder, childlike openness, floods your psychology with the very frequencies that allow desires to manifest. You still hold a clear intention, but you pair it with a relaxed, trusting attitude. "I'm ready to receive the best possible outcome." You might repeat, "it is done" hundreds of times, but if your emotional state doesn't match the vibration of completion, the phrase remains an empty mantra. Emotional alignment means cultivating the feelings you would have if your desire were already realized: joy, peace, confidence, gratitude. Many skip this step, assuming that verbal affirmation alone suffices. Yet, neuroscience tells us that emotions are the real drivers of neurochemical shifts in the brain. When you feel the essence of your fulfilled desire, you activate the brain's reward pathways and imprint a new template of experience. This emotional template rewires your expectations and beckons circumstances to conform. Without it, affirmations are like an uncharged battery, capable of promise, but powerless in effect. Your subconscious is the silent ruler of 95% of your mental life. Even if your conscious mind fully embraces "it is done," the subconscious may harbor outdated programs of lack, fear, or unworthiness. These hidden beliefs whisper, "You don't deserve this," or "this won't last," and they create subtle counter-vibrations that cancel your declarations. To unmask and dissolve these saboteurs, practice daily revision of upsetting memories, journal your recurring negative thoughts, and challenge each one by demanding evidence of its truth. As you shine light on these shadowy scripts, replacing them with new affirmative narratives, you clear the way for your conscious intentions to pass unimpeded to the depths of your being. Too often, practitioners check their bank account, their inbox, or their social feed for proof that "it is done." This fixation on external evidence re-anchors you in the old reality, telling your subconscious, "I still don't have it." Manifestation is an inside-out process. First, the internal must shift, then the external will follow on its own schedule. The more you chase outer signs, the more you reinforce inner doubt. Instead, cultivate an inner knowing so unshakable that you require no outside confirmation. When doubts arise, remind yourself that your work is complete in the invisible realm. Practice gratitude for the unseen blessings already in progress, and trust that the physical evidence will not be long delayed. The modern mind craves instant results. We want our morning coffee instantly, our email replies immediately, and our manifestations yesterday. Yet all growth, whether a painted masterpiece, a growing oak tree, or a newborn baby, requires a gestation period. When you plant the seed of "it is done," it needs time to sprout, root, and bloom. Impatience leads to frustration, which produces negative emotion, which then sends a mixed message. I don't have it yet. To overcome this, adopt the metaphor of the farmer. Plant your intention, tend it with daily watering of positive feeling. Then, step back and let nature take its course. Periodically revisit your wish with calm affirmation, but do not dig up the seed to see if it's sprouting. Trust the invisible pulse of growth. A persistent question nags. How will this occur? Through what people, events, or channels? This curiosity is natural, but dwelling on how invites analysis and doubt into your creative field. Each step away from unqualified "it is done" to "I hope this particular path unfolds" dilutes the potency of your declaration. The universe abounds with infinite pathways to fulfillment, far beyond what your limited mind can conceive. When you abandon the how, you free the intelligence of consciousness to orchestrate the most efficient, unexpected route. Your only job is to maintain the end state and let the seamless intelligence of life reveal the steps in divine timing. Your subconscious is most responsive when given one clear instruction at a time. Trying to manifest multiple objectives simultaneously, money, love, health, career, can scatter your creative energy like flashlights, pointed in different directions. Each competing desire competes for vibrational bandwidth, creating a cacophony instead of one clear signal. Instead, prioritize one central desire, master its full immersion, affirmation, visualization, emotion, revision, and once it feels established in your inner world, move to the next. Sequential manifestation builds confidence and trains your subconscious to trust your declarations. Soon you'll find that one completed intention naturally amplifies your capacity to manifest others in rapid succession. Consistency is the mortar that holds your imaginative bricks together. Missing days of affirmation, skipping visualization, or neglecting emotional calibration breaks the continuity of your creative stream. The subconscious learns patterns through repetition. When you repeatedly abandon your practice, you teach your inner mind that the desire is optional or unstable. Commit to a daily ritual. Choose a fixed time each morning or evening, honor it as non-negotiable, and treat it with the respect you would a vital appointment. Over weeks and months, your subconscious will internalize those sessions as integral to your identity, and manifestation will feel natural rather than forced. Your environment can either support or undermine your creative work. Constant exposure to sensational news, pessimistic acquaintances, or fear-driven messages implants negative seeds in your psyche. While you cannot control every external input, you can curate your inner circle and media diet. Surround yourself with uplifting content, books, podcasts, music, and relationships that reinforce possibility. When you encounter negativity, recognize it as an external broadcast of fear and choose not to receive it. Instead, buffer yourself with gratitude, positive affirmation, or a moment of silent focus on your fulfilled desire. These micro shifts protect your inner climate so that your "it is done" signal remains clear. Often you'll notice small synchronicities, an unexpected compliment, a chance meeting, a fleeting insight that signal your desire is in motion. Yet if you overlook these breadcrumbs, you miss crucial reinforcement of faith. Celebrating small wins is like watering a growing plant. It tells your subconscious, yes, we're on track. Each acknowledgement magnifies positive emotion and cements belief. Keep a manifestation journal where you record every little nudge from the universe. Revisit these entries when doubt appears. They serve as tangible proof that your "it is done" mantle is already working behind the scenes. By recognizing and eliminating these 10 common mistakes: resistance, emotional misalignment, subconscious, sabotage, external fixation, impatience, how, obsession, desire scattering, inconsistency, negative inputs, and failure to celebrate, you clear the path for your 3 words to take full effect. When you no longer trample your own intentions with misguided actions or hidden doubts, your declarations of "it is done" will flow unobstructed into the fertile depths of your subconscious, from which your new reality inevitably emerges. With these obstacles removed, you are ready to put the final piece into place: the correct step-by-step application of "it is done" in your daily life. In the next chapter, we will map out exactly how to weave these 3 words into every moment, so that your inner realm and outer results converge in remarkable harmony. We have now explored the foundational principles of manifestation, understanding the power of belief, the pitfalls to avoid, and the necessary practices to cultivate. But, as with any art, the true mastery comes from integrating these teachings into daily life. The 3 words, "it is done," are more than a mantra or affirmation. They are a living vibration, a state of being, a frequency that your entire existence must align with. In this chapter, we will dive deep into how to live these 3 words fully, turning your mental and emotional practices into a seamless experience that doesn't just change your mind, but transforms your life. The first and most profound shift you must make is to inhabit the state of completion, the state of already having your desire. Many spiritual teachings suggest living as if your desire is already realized, but few truly understand the depth of this practice. It's not enough to merely say the words, you must experience the feeling of having it now. Living, "it is done," means shifting your consciousness in every moment. Imagine that everything you need is already here, whether it's wealth, love, health, or success. Feel the subtle shift in your energy as if your wish has already been fulfilled. Your posture changes, your confidence rises, your conversations are different. You move through the world with a quiet certainty that all is well, because in your world it already is. When Neville Goddard talked about living in the end, he was referring to aligning every part of yourself with the emotional state of having your desire now. The more consistently you can inhabit this state, the faster your external reality will shift to match it. The state of fulfillment must become your natural, everyday vibration, a point you return to at every moment. The next step in living "it is done" is emotional alignment. Emotions are the magnetic force behind manifestation. They are the energy that shapes your external reality. To feel the emotions of having your desire fulfilled is to embody the very essence of what you wish to manifest. Imagine for a moment that your deepest wish has already come true. Perhaps you've received that job you've been longing for, you've found the perfect relationship, or your financial freedom has arrived. What emotions does this evoke? Does your heart swell with gratitude? Is there a feeling of excitement or peace? Can you imagine the relief and joy that would flood your system as you bask in the realization that your dreams have already materialized? This emotional state must become your default. By constantly practicing the emotions of your fulfilled desire, you anchor the experience in your subconscious. The more real the emotions feel, the more you align your internal world with your external world. This emotional embodiment of "it is done" accelerates the manifestation process because it bypasses the mind skepticism and directly influences the subconscious, which is the true architect of your reality. To live "it is done" fully, you must maintain unwavering belief in the process. The subconscious is a powerful tool, but it is also a servant of your conscious thoughts. When you doubt or waver, you send mixed signals, and the process of manifestation slows. Your internal narrative must become one of complete certainty. Focus is key. Every time you think about your desire, remember that it is already here. Don't just hope or wish. Know with every fiber of your being that what you desire has already materialized. A moment of doubt is simply an invitation to return to the state of certainty. Practice mindfulness. Whenever you catch yourself thinking thoughts that contradict your affirmation, gently bring yourself back to the knowledge that it is done. This doesn't mean you should obsessively focus on your desire. On the contrary, it is done is a practice of trust, not tension. Allow space for life to unfold, and don't force it. Believe that everything is already working out in your favor, and that the universe is orchestrating everything to bring you what you have claimed. Let go of the how, and simply trust that the how will be revealed in divine timing. Living it is done also means integrating this powerful concept into every aspect of your life. This isn't just about mental exercises or visualizations. It's about embodying your desires in everything you do, from your morning routine to how you interact with others to how you handle challenges. Let's break this down. 1. In your thoughts. Every thought you think should be aligned with your desires. When you think of your desire, imagine it already fulfilled. There is no room for if or when, only it is done. You may still encounter thoughts of doubt or fear, but you can instantly replace them with the certainty of your fulfillment. 2. In your actions. Your actions must reflect the belief that your desire has already manifested. This might mean making decisions or taking steps that align with your desire as if it is already here. If you are manifesting a new home, for example, you might start to clear out your current space, packing and preparing as if you are about to move into your new place. If you're manifesting wealth, act with the confidence and abundance mindset that someone with wealth would. 3. In your relationships. The way you interact with others should also reflect the energy of it is done. If you're manifesting love, show up in your relationships with the belief that you are already loved and cherished. This doesn't mean being arrogant or dismissive of others, but instead radiating a calm confidence and trust that your desires are already on their way to you. 4. In your language. The words you speak carry immense power. Speak as if your desires are already present in your life. For instance, instead of saying, "I hope I get this promotion," say, "I am thriving in my new role." This subtle shift in language not only strengthens your internal belief, but influences how others perceive you and how opportunities unfold. 5. In your energy. Lastly, your energy, how you carry yourself, your mood, and your overall vibration must reflect the state of completion. If you feel unsettled or insecure, it's time to reconnect with the emotional alignment of it is done. Practice daily meditations, grounding exercises, or gratitude practices that allow you to recalibrate and return to the feeling of fulfillment. A critical piece of living it is done is detachment. Once you've set your intention, you must release the need to control how or when it manifests. This doesn't mean being passive or complacent, but rather trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. Many people make the mistake of holding on too tightly to their desires, which paradoxically pushes them further away. They obsess over every detail, check their progress too often, or try to micromanage the universe. Instead, practice the art of detachment. Once you've done the work to align your inner state, let go. Surrender the outcome and trust that your desires are already making their way to you. Patience is an essential part of the "it is done" philosophy. Just like planting a seed and waiting for it to sprout, the process of manifestation takes time. However, this waiting is not a passive state of hoping, but an active engagement in enjoying the journey. Embrace the process, celebrate small wins, acknowledge the synchronicities that appear, and enjoy the unfolding of your desires. Manifestation is not just about the end goal, it's about the joy and fulfillment you find in the experience of becoming, of embodying your desires. As you align with the feeling of it is done, you will find that the journey itself is just as rewarding as the destination. When you embrace it is done fully, you step into the role of the conscious creator of your reality. You no longer wait for the world to dictate your experience. Instead, you shape it through your thoughts, emotions, and actions, knowing that every moment is an opportunity to live in alignment with your desires. As you continue this practice, you become more aware of your own power to shape reality. With every day, you reinforce the knowing that everything you need is already here. You are the architect, the artist, and the creator, and "it is done" is your guiding principle. As you live this truth, you will witness the profound transformation of your life, shifting from a place of waiting and hoping to a place of knowing and creating. The world begins to mirror back to you your inner reality, and the life you once dreamed of becomes your current experience. In countless stories across history and contemporary life, ordinary people have harnessed the creative power of their own consciousness to bring about astonishing transformations. These examples serve as living proof that the principles we have explored, belief, emotional alignment, persistence, and the simple declaration "it is done," are not abstract theories, but practical, reproducible methods for shifting reality. In this chapter, we will journey through several inspiring accounts, from those who quietly changed their personal circumstances to those whose breakthroughs reshaped entire industries, illustrating how the conscious application of imagination and certainty can manifest the most remarkable outcomes. One such story comes from a young teacher named Anna, who struggled with chronic fatigue and a sense of aimlessness in her career. Each morning she rose before dawn, dragging herself through her routine, convinced that her life was slipping through her fingers. On a colleague's recommendation, Anna began a simple practice. Each night before sleep, she vividly imagined herself waking up feeling energized, smiling at her reflection, and greeting her students with enthusiasm. She whispered to herself, "It is done," as she fell asleep. Within weeks, Anna noticed small but undeniable shifts. She awoke on some mornings feeling lighter, her mind clearer. She caught herself laughing more freely with her students. A month later, a health checkup revealed improved biomarkers. Her doctor attributed it to stress reduction and better sleep, but Anna knew that the shift began in her imagination. Over the next year, her outlook transformed so deeply that she pursued a leadership role in her school district, a position she had once considered beyond her reach. Anna's example shows how sustained, intentional focus on a single internal state, coupled with the three-word decree, can ripple outward to transform both body and circumstance. Consider next the case of Marcus, an engineer whose company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Faced with mounting debts and diminishing morale among his team, he decided to apply the law of assumption to their product launch. Rather than succumbing to fear-driven team meetings and frantic last-minute changes, he held a brief daily gathering in which the team visualized the product selling out immediately upon release. They spoke in unison, "It is done." They imagined customer testimonials praising its ease of use. They saw the shipment numbers climbing past projected targets, and they felt the exhilaration of success. To everyone's astonishment, including that of the lead investors, the product launch exceeded expectations by 250%. Sales rollouts were extended to new markets within weeks. Colleagues later confided that they had felt a palpable shift in the office atmosphere from panic to quiet confidence. Marcus's story illustrates that collective intention, synchronized through a shared vision and the simple phrase, "It is done," can redirect the course of entire projects and organizations. In a different arena, the world of athletics, the technique shows its power every day in the mental rehearsal used by top performers. Take Serena, a semi-professional tennis player plagued by self-doubt each time she faced more experienced opponents. She would practice her serves and volleys until her muscles ached, yet anxiety always crept in before matches. At the suggestion of a sports psychologist, Serena began to end each practice session by closing her eyes and vividly seeing herself winning the final point, holding the trophy aloft, and hearing the crowd erupt in thunderous applause. As she drifted off to sleep, she repeated quietly to herself, "It is done." Over the next season, her performance improved dramatically. She won several local tournaments, and at one tightly contested match, she found herself unfazed by the intensity of the crowd or the skill of her opponent. Later, she credited her victories not only to physical training, but to the inner certainty she cultivated each night. Serena's transformation underscores how "it is done" can rewire confidence pathways in the brain and allow skill to flow unimpeded by fear. We also find remarkable evidence among entrepreneurs who have used the law of assumption to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Ozek, a tech startup founder, spent 2 years developing a prototype that investors consistently rejected. Discouraged but not defeated, he shifted his approach. Each evening, he visualized a boardroom filled with enthusiastic venture capitalists, nodding in agreement and handing him a signed contract. He felt the relief of securing funding and the excitement of scaling his operation. As he fell asleep, he declared 3 words: "It is done." Within weeks, a prominent investor reached out, having heard about his concept through industry whispers. The term sheet arrived less than a fortnight later. Ozek later remarked that nothing in his pitch had changed, only his internal alignment. His story reveals how "it is done" can act as a beacon, drawing needed resources and connections into our lives when we occupy the reality of our success before it manifests outwardly. The realm of healing provides perhaps the most heart-wrenching and powerful examples. Maria, a woman in her 50s, was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that left her in constant pain and fatigue. Conventional treatments offered only modest relief. Desperate for hope, she began a program of guided imagery. Each night, she saw healthy cells replacing the diseased ones, imagined her body restored to full vitality, and felt the energy of well-being coursing through her veins. As the last thought before sleep, she affirmed, "It is done." Over months of diligent practice, her lab results improved, her energy returned, and her doctor eventually pronounced the disease in remission. While no medical professional could fully explain the turnaround, Maria knew that her unwavering belief and nightly affirmations had played a decisive role. Her journey demonstrates how the subconscious collaboration in healing can go beyond external interventions when we commit to the state of completeness. Even in the world of creative arts, the principle holds true. Leonardo, a writer struggling with writer's block and repeated rejections, set aside his frustration and began to construct a vivid inner scene of his completed novel warming readers' hearts and flying off bookstore shelves. He visualized the book signing events, the glowing reviews, and the grateful messages from fans. As he slept, he whispered, "It is done." With renewed clarity and purpose, he awoke each day excited to write. Within a year, his completed manuscript won a major contest, was picked up by a renowned publisher, and eventually became a bestseller. Leonardo's story highlights that when we align our identity with the reality of our fulfilled creative vision, the barriers of doubt and procrastination dissolve, and our work flows through us with ease. These varied narratives, from health to business, from sports to the arts, share a common thread. Individuals refused to accept the limits of their current circumstances and instead chose to dwell in the certainty of their fulfilled desires. They disciplined their thoughts, managed their emotions, and practiced the 3-word decree with sincerity. Through persistent application, they activated the unseen processes that bridge imagination to physical reality. What these stories teach us is that inspiration is not a fleeting spark, but a mirror reflecting our own potential. When you read of Anna's restored vitality, of Marcus's rescued company, of Serena's triumphant victories, you see not distant fantasies, but templates you can adapt to your own life. The same 3 words that guided them, "It is done," can guide you toward your unique goals. Whether your desire involves relationships, finance, personal growth, or creative expression, the blueprint remains the same. Imagine it fully, feel it deeply, affirm it unwaveringly. As you integrate these examples into your own journey, consider how you might apply "it is done" to your next challenge. Perhaps you face a career crossroads, seek a deeper connection with someone you love, or yearn for a breakthrough in your personal development. Recall the stories of those who have walked this path before and allow their successes to reassure you that the same creative law operates for everyone. Your story is unfolding now, and the chapter that follows will offer guidance on solidifying your new reality, ensuring that the shifts you have set in motion become permanent fixtures in your lived experience. Now that we've walked through every step of transforming your reality, there's one crucial truth to grasp. The only moment that truly matters on the path to the life you desire is this one. Everything you want already exists in your consciousness, and to see it appear in the physical world, you must inhabit the state of having already achieved your goal. Each of your wishes is already part of your life. You simply need to synchronize your inner state with the outer world. We've covered not only the theory, but real-life examples of how subconscious laws and a simple phrase like, "it is done," can radically change your life. These stories prove that anyone with enough inner commitment can break through limitations and create their own reality. The secret isn't merely believing in possibilities, it's living as though they've already been realized. That deep confidence, backed by emotional clarity and intention, opens new horizons, overcomes barriers, and achieves what once seemed impossible. Every day, every moment is part of this process. The stronger you build your inner world, the more quickly your outer world shifts. Your thoughts, emotions, and words are what shape your reality. The process may feel complex, but as we've seen in other success stories, it's accessible to everyone. Dream, visualize, and whisper, either aloud or in your mind. It is done. And watch how the world adjusts to your new inner frequency. Now you know how to begin changing your reality right now. All you need is unwavering faith that you're already on your way to your best self. The path is open before you, and every step brings new opportunities and miracles. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Let me know in the comments how you plan to use these techniques in your life and what changes you've already started to see. For more powerful insights, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Believe in yourself and your potential, and let the world reveal itself to you in a whole new light. Subscribe now and join our community of people who are transforming their lives.